Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, from Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, it's Monday, and you know what that means. It's time for another episode of the Raw Event Center. And now here's the man that will bring you all the wrestling action from Monday Night Raw, Mr. Eric M. Lima.
Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, episode 2292. I thought I was losing count of the episodes, but I finally got the numbers right. Before we talk about what happened on Monday Night Raw tonight, there's a couple of things that happened over the weekend that you should know. R-Truth's contract will not be renewed with the WWE. In fact, he will be gone from the WWE after this. And I want to give my thoughts on this channel myself instead of going on someone else's stream and saying something about it. I have respect for them and all that, and I know they want to express themselves. R-Truth to me was one of the funniest people, funniest wrestlers in not only in the WWE but in professional wrestling in general. The way he goes about things is hilarious to watch. But we know backstage, behind the scenes, he was well loved by fellow wrestlers and whatnot. And just to hear that happen is kind of devastating. But R-Truth is 53 years old and he's getting up there in age. I would not be surprised if he decided not to come back to wrestling, but he's got his music, his rap album, and all that. I don't think it's the end. This is the end for R-Truth, but I had the honor of having Ron Killings follow me on X. So all I can say is, I should do a special list for the top of the Shenanigan charts of the 5 funniest R-Truth moments. Whether it be quotes from him or just stuff like that during his 24/7 reigns, like 54 times and all that. No one's held one title for that not long, and R-Truth was and made that 24/7 title. To me, the 24/7 title should be a part of his legacy, and even though it was not as popular as it was expected to be. But nevertheless, R-Truth will be missed in the WWE. R-Truth, and I'm always going to be a fan of R-Truth, and he was the most hilarious dude ever. Like I said, on the mic and all that, and just throughout everything, man. So R-Truth, thank you, sir, and I hope you are blessed in whatever you do. Carlito is another one that will have not his contract renewed. In fact, he's going back to Puerto Rico. I think to wrestle there. And if he became a champion in Puerto Rico as well, and then I think that will give him an opportunity. So I'm sure he's got something to fall back on when he gets released from the WWE. And so the Judgment Day loses another. And then you got Sarah Logan, a.k.a. Valhalla. She decided to retire from the ring to take care of her kids, which I think is good. She said the wrestling business is in good hands with her husband, Eric, of the War Raiders. And I personally think that is a super cool idea, to say the least. So with those 3 individuals, thank you so much for your service in the WWE. We're gonna miss you guys. We love you, and we hope that you guys jump back on your feet somewhere in life. So I am sure you guys will kill it, whatever you do. So. Thank you very much. Also, there was a match that happened with Joaquin Wilder, and I forget who he was facing in a matchup for like a speed championship. And Joaquin Wilder got hurt really, really badly to the point he was rushed to the hospital. This could affect the 6-man tag match or the trios match that's going to happen at Worlds Collide. Well, probably Rey Mysterio may have to step in with Cruz del Toro and Dragon Lee. Who knows who is going to replace them? We'll find out when we come to it. But this is also the final Raw, not only before Worlds Collide, but also Money in the Bank. As you know, there's 2 more qualifying matches, one for the women, one for the men. But first, as due to the Indiana Pacers series victory over the New York Knicks, it was agreed upon that Michael Cole had to do Raw in a tank top, but not just an ordinary tank top, but an Indiana Pacers jersey, number 9, and he got booed for it. And unfortunately, you know what? Here's why. It's in Tulsa. Raw is emanating from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Oklahoma is the state of Oklahoma is the home of the Oklahoma City Thunder. So there you go. Michael Cole is in a world living in a world of walking poop. That's what I like to say. Anyways, CM Punk addresses the Tulsa crowd, and then about the Money in the Bank qualifying match, and saying that Zayn interrupts Punk, says you must win this match and you must win the title. And then Roxanne Perez decided to talk to Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan, the tag team champions, and they just tell her just to go away, So she goes, fine, we don't need your help. And then Liv Morgan, she gets ready for her qualifier matchup, confronted Io Sky, and Io Sky says, I'm going to win this matchup, I'm going to cash in on you, and she goes, not gonna, and Io goes, not going to happen. And it was Liv Morgan versus Ivy Nile versus Stephanie Vaquer for the first match for the finals woman Money in the Bank qualifier. And Stephanie Vaquer, who was making her official debut as a member of the Raw roster, Stephanie Vaquer picked up the victory, and she will join Naomi, Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, and Julia to make up for the 6 women that will fight each other for the Money in the Bank ladder match contract. That means Julia and Stephanie Vaquer will pick up where they left off there, and that is going to be a tough decision for me to call. And then AJ Styles is getting ready for his matchup, and then Paul Heyman talks to AJ Styles, and looks like Paul Heyman's trying to bribe AJ Styles into throwing the match, or stay out of AJ Styles' way, or join forces with him. AJ Styles says, nah, I'm doing this on my own, basically. And then Rusev addresses Sheamus, and, addressing Sheamus in his promo, saying that you may have a body like granite, but a neck like sand. It's going to be very interesting to see what he has to say. Then he ended up talking to both Akira Tozawa and also Maxine Dupree and Natalia, and Sheamus is trying to tell Akira Tozawa to keep his head up, and then both girls walked away to comfort him, and Kathy Kelly interviews Sheamus. Looks like Sheamus has issued a challenge to Rusev, so we'll see if that match goes down anytime soon. Meanwhile, the War Raiders versus the Judgment Day team of Finn Balor and J.D. McDonough, and New Day was joining on commentary, and then Eric and Ivar psyched out the New Day. Xavier Woods fell down in his chair, and we all started laughing, and then all of a sudden, the New Day's about to get involved. Jessica Carr caught them, says you're ejected from ringside, but Roxanne Perez gets involved during the matchup, gutsy young lady, and ends up helping Balor and McDonough win the match. So there's that. Becky Lynch addresses Lara Valkyria, and then about their matchup at Money in the Bank. Meanwhile, Kathy Kelly interviewed Stephanie Vaquer, congratulating her in qualifying, and then she was interrupted by Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley shook her hands and congratulations. Looks like respect between those two. Then Lara Valkyria was not in a very good mood and heard what Becky had to say, and she goes in the ring and calls out Becky Lynch so she can say what it's. And then Becky Lynch comes out, and both of them were talking smack until Becky Lynch walked away. Lara Valkyria goes, "No, we're going to give you a little preview." And then as Becky walked away, Lara Valkyria went after her, and both women brawled before security. Officials separated the whole thing. Dead Penta addresses the Money in the Bank ladder match, and then Jey Uso and Sami Zayn versus the Brawns, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. And Seth Rollins gets involved during the matchup, throws out the match with Zayn and Uso win by DQ until they were about to injure Sami Zayn until CM Punk goes out and throws and takes out the bronze with the steel chair. Meanwhile, Finn Balor was talking to Liv Morgan about Roxanne Perez. He said, hey, why don't you babysit her? We got our match to deal with. And Kairi Sane and Raquel Rodriguez went one-on-one. And Liv Morgan tried to get involved during the matchup. And the Io Sky said to even things up for her best friend. And that gives Sane the victory over the statuesque Raquel Rodriguez. And then as Sami Zayn was getting checked out by the trainer, Karrion Kross talked to him and probably convinced Sami Zayn to turn to the dark side. I don't know what Kross's end game here is, but it gets interesting. And then Gunther talking to Jey Uso about how, being a champion it is. And then as Gunther was talking, Jey Uso jumped up and said, good night, Us. I'll see you next week. And then the final Money in the Bank qualifier, AJ Styles, El Grande Americano, a.k.a. Chad Gable, and CM Punk went at it. And during the matchup, though, Breaker and Reed attacked CM Punk during the matchup. And then Jey Uso and Sami Zayn came back out to return the favor. And then Rollins and Punk fight it out, and then Rollins and the crew stomped them out, and that was how Seth Rollins and his gang stood in the end. What's going to happen next week? What's going to happen at Money in the Bank? We'll find out. But tomorrow, we got High Rollers, we got NXT, and all that good stuff in between. So I'll see you guys later. You guys have a wonderful, blessed day. Good night, blessed night. Rest of your night. Get some sleep. Good night, and I'll see you tomorrow on the next episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans 1977. Until that next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home. That is all for today's episode of the show. This is Mr. Announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E and do it for Bob Saget production and in association with a Raving Bull for 3000 Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. See you later on the next episode of the show. Goodbye for now.